to overcome, not only to survive, but to succeed. And I think that's what my purpose was in writing this book, to give people an opportunity to look in themselves and possibly come to terms with some old issues and find value out of it. Hello, and welcome to Along the Way Life's Journey. I'm your host, Carl Buccellato. Let's get the next journey started. I've been hosting this podcast now for some months, and many people have written in saying they've enjoyed the series of different guests and interviews who have revealed and discussed with them incidents of their past and people that they have met along the way who have inspired them and motivated them to become more than they are. And that was the purpose of this mission. This podcast was directed originally for that purpose alone. And yet my publicists, as I've said many times, have suggested that I use this vehicle as an opportunity to promote a book that I wrote a year ago, published a year ago this month, actually. And the book is entitled To Every Page a Turning, One Life's Journey. This is a book primarily about one man's life as he travels from being born during the war years of World War II throughout the 20th century, and the various paradigm shifts of life that he encountered along the way. Education, political changes, what rocked the United States for such a long time, the Vietnam War years, getting married and raising a family, building businesses, and generally becoming more of a participant and a contributor to society than he began with. He began his life in Brooklyn, firstborn child of a second-generation Italian-American, and the various issues that he needed to confront while growing up, living in Brooklyn. Being the son of a alcoholic parent and having to go through various recovery groups himself. Adult Children of Alcoholics was one primary one, which helped him to confront the issues of his past and overcome some of the anger problems that he had. As a young man, he was raged with anger problems because of many of these repressed feelings that he had as a child living under the alcoholic parent. And so that rage expressed itself in a form where he became a boxer, a young amateur boxer, and took out a lot of his aggression and was fairly successful at it. And at one point in his life, he decided that he needed more in life, and he moved on, hopefully trying to get away from the streets of New York, the streets of Brooklyn, that were filled with all of the young hoodlums of the era. This is the 1950s we're talking about now, and how his life progressed. And he went on to become educated and become a businessman and to generate various new businesses and to grow in society. And this book carries itself through that generation. While some may think of it as a autobiography of myself, while it is generally about me, it is primarily follows my life. It is also, I believe, the record of my generation, the generation of the war babies, followed quickly afterwards by the baby boomers. There are still 18 million of us alive in the United States, and we have had a meaningful exchange and contribution to the American society. And this is about them as well as me. We talk about the protagonist and the issues he was involved in, whether it be business or overcoming addiction issues and or war experiences. They are really the experiences of the generation. Many people have contacted me and said, after reading this book, To Every Page a Turning, they recognize that it's their life as well as mine, because they lived through very similar situations. Maybe they weren't exactly the same, but they were quite similar. And the meaning of this book, To Every Page a Turning, is that life in and of itself, just like a book, every new era, every new day presents itself with a new issue. And that page plays itself out and then turns, and there's another page in your life. And so it encouraged me to put together this novel. It's the compilation of 50 years worth of journaling that I did from as a young man right through to the end of the 1990s when I finally stopped doing it. And they have been secured in my home for quite some time. And about 2 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, while doing some house cleaning chores, I discovered the files once again. And my wife encouraged me, saying that these were very good bits of information in here and very helpful to many people. And she encouraged me to put it together and create a novel out of it rather than a memoir or a series of journals. And so that's what I did. It's a rather small book. It's easy to read. It's quick to read, but it has attained Amazon bestseller status, and it has been earned a number of awards, various awards. It's available everywhere on Amazon and Target and Barnes and Noble and so forth. It's in its second print. Thousands of people have read it, and they have responded very favorably to this book because it represents, in many cases, themselves or stories that they've heard from their parents about their lives. So I encourage you to look into this book. Find it. Father's Day is coming up. If you're lucky enough to still have your dad, maybe he'd enjoy reading it. Although, having said that, I will say that I get a surprising number of women who read this book who have been very connected to it and understand fully the message in the book. And so it is not just a book for men. It is not a war book. It is not a love story. It's a story of life, the evolution and the changes in life. It's a story about a young boy who has an addicted parent who goes through life coping, changing, learning coping skills, growing, having his own family, only to find one of his children is addicted as well. And so he must go through the whole cycle once more. So this is a book for everyone. On the cover of the book, it says, each man who journeys through life. One moment, please. I can't do it without my glasses any longer. On the cover of the book, it says, each man who journeys through life must travel through its seasons and ultimate lessons. For some, the journey is brief and their life's light is fleeting. They are like rockets that flare to the heavens, glowing brightly only to go black in the next instant. Still others travel what seemed to be an abbreviated journey, missing some of life's seasons, never knowing the agony and the ecstasy of what they have missed. But some live each season, taste each tear, relish each sunrise, and brace themselves against each burst of wind. They have traveled life's highway and finally joined the many pieces of themselves into the whole person they were born to be. And I think that represents most of us. We are not a single entity. We are an evolving being, all of us. And I think if you read this book, you will find that you're in the pages of this book. And I am sure that your parents or brothers and sisters even will enjoy reading it. There are a number of issues in here that are related to the war years, some of them a bit graphic, but they all have a message of overcoming and renewal. They all have a message of finding God's hand on your presence and the ability to overcome, not only to survive, but to succeed. And I think that's what my purpose was in writing this book, to give people an opportunity to look in themselves and possibly come to terms with some old issues and find value out of it. That's why I created the podcast, so that people can tell their story and motivate other people to touch in themselves and find those pieces of themselves that need to come together. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The name of the book is To Every Page a Turning, One Life's Journey. It's published by Mascot, and it is available on Amazon, both in print form and ebook, Barnes and Nobles, Target, ton of other places. You can go to my website, to everypageisturning.com, and you will find all of the reviews on there. There are many, 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 many reviews, and you will find all of the awards that were earned by this book and this work. And I do hope you look into it. So for now, have a wonderful day and good day. Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope that it resonated with you. It certainly did with me. and I hope it encouraged you to realize the true power of your story. As a reminder, new episodes will be released Wednesday mornings on your favorite podcast apps and also on YouTube as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn your notification button on to ensure that you receive updates on new episode releases. I'm grateful for your reviews and your support. The love is certainly felt. Keep it coming. You can reach out to connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or stop by my website, toeverypageofturning.com. All links are clickable in the show notes for quick access. Do you think that you or someone you know may be our most inspiring guest yet? Let's hope so. Click on our contact page and get in touch on my website and share your story. I look forward to reading each one personally. My best-selling book, To Every Page of Turning, which was published by Mascot Books, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and many more popular book retailers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Till next time, remember that every day is a new opportunity to write your new page in your incredible journey. And it is incredible. You're the only one who has it.